us proceed with our discussions in terms of the installations of the strain gauge. Now that you have done the surface treatment, your next step it will be installing the strain gauge. You are using adhesive for you to have the strain gauge attached to the test specimen. There are various types of adhesive. Each type has their own function and application. We're going to discuss about CN-adhesive as it is the most popularly used for the installations of the strain gauge. This CN-adhesive is a single component adhesive used together with TML strain gauge, and it is very easy to use, and it only requires a short time to bond with the strain gauge. There are four main types of CN adhesive: CN, CNE, CNY, and CNR. These are the characteristics and descriptions of this adhesive. CN is for general purpose. CNE have high viscosity. The viscosity is referring to the state of a fluid in terms of the flowability. Next, CNY is for large strength and CNR is for quick curing. If you refer to the table here, CN, CNY and CNR can be used for metal. It is also applicable for plastic and composites. As for concrete or mortar or wood and gypsum, CNE will be applicable. The package seems to be the same. Some may not know the differences. Some may even use CN, which is meant for metal, for the installations of the strain gauge on the surface of the concrete. Theoretically, this is not right. You need to be careful on this. Always read the packages before you use them. Don't mix up the bottles of the adhesive in order to avoid confusions. In fact, they also differentiate different types of adhesive by the color of the cap, which is this one and this one. For the applications of the concrete, for CNE, it is white cap. As for CN, it will be green cap. However, you see, CNE and CNR both have white cap. Therefore, the best way of you is not to mix up the bottles of this adhesive with the others in their packet. Now let us talk about the general gauge installation process using CN adhesive. First is about dropping. Apply the required amount of CN adhesive to the back of strain gauge base. Normally, 1 drop of adhesive will be sufficient. Unless you are dealing with large strain gauges, you may require more. Drop the adhesive at the back of the strain gauge, and then use the nozzle to spread the adhesive uniformly over the entire back of the strain gauge. Something like this. Next, align the strain gauge in the positioning marks. Make sure the measurement axis fit nicely with the positions mark. And then place the release film, which for CN series, polyethylene sheet will be used. Now, place the polyethylene sheets over the strain gauge. Apply a constant pressure either by using your thumb or using the strain gauge clamp. Wait until the adhesive hardens. Then you may remove the polyethylene sheet. Now the process of dropping, spreading and also applying the pressure onto the strain gauge will need to be done carefully and quickly, as CN adhesive hardens in very short time. Remember not to have direct contact with CN adhesive. The bond is very strong. Next, it will be the curing time. Now, the time required for curing varies depending on the temperature, humidity, clamping pressure, and the type of strain gauge and the test specimen. Let's say under normal circumstances, which is 20 degrees Celsius with the relative humidity of 50%, the curing time is as follows. The entire process is very fast. The most is only 2 minutes. The rapid hardening one can harden within 30 seconds. As a precautions while dealing with CN adhesive, do not wear cotton glove while doing this. First, if you are wearing cotton glove or you are wearing any glove to deal with the strain gauge, you need to be extra careful, as you have additional layer in between your finger and the strain gauge. This may affect your sensitivity in terms of the touching. You might accidentally damage the strain gauge. Another one is due to the chemical reactions of the CN adhesive. The hardening process here is an exothermic reaction. It means that the reactions release heat as CN adhesive hardens. Now, these exothermic reactions induce heat. It shall accelerate further the hardening reactions of CN adhesive. There is a danger of burning of the fabric of cotton if a large amount of CN adhesive is in contact with. If you really need to wear glove, you may use polyethylene or rubber glove, which is relatively safer, but you will need to check it carefully before you put them on. This one is to prevent direct contact with your skins. The one that we discussed just now is method 1, which is the general installations of strain gauge using CN adhesive. There is another way to install the strain gauge. Personally, I feel this method is more professional, and if you do it properly, the quality of installations, especially the accuracy in terms of the installations at the right positions, will be better. This method is about installing strain gauge using tape and CN adhesive. Let us look into it one by one. The first step here is to position the strain gauge. Move the strain gauge base and gauge leads part away from the binder as shown in figure here. This is a binder. It comes as a fold, protecting the strain gauge. Now that you intend to install the strain gauge, in order to avoid direct contact of your finger with the strain gauge itself, you may rotate the strain gauge from the original position here to this side. Slightly expose the gauge leads and a little bit of the gauge base. And then you place the gauge binder on a clear glass slide as demonstrated in the figure here. Having this side exposed, which is slightly extruded from the binder, you will use a piece of cellophane tape to stick onto the gauge leads and the portions of the gauge base so that you can handle with the strain gauge later. That's why you need to expose slightly the gauge base so that the cellophane tape can stick to it. Next, it will be the positioning. Now, carefully peel off the cellophane tape from the glass. Take out the strain gauge. The strain gauge should come together with the cellophane tape. Then align the tape with the positioning marks and stick it down onto the surface of the test specimen. You hold onto the cellophane tape and align it properly to fit the crossing marks which you have indicated earlier. The entire process here, you do not need to touch the strain gauge. Unlike method 1, which the method 1 have the CN-adhesive drop onto the base of the strain gauge, you have to make it quick for the positionings of the strain gauge. Get everything done before adhesive hardens. In this case, CN-adhesive has not yet been applied to the strain gauge. You can take your time to properly adjust the locations of your strain gauge. Once you have everything in place, now you can apply the CN-adhesive. What you can do now is carefully peel up one end of the cellophane tape and then put a drop of CN-adhesive at the back of the strain gauge and then put it back in the right positions. Quickly stick the tape back down its previous positions and apply pressure through a polyethylene sheet, either with your thumb or with a strain gauge clamp. Wait until the adhesive hardens, then you can remove the pressure. This is about the second method of installations of the strain gauge, which is using the tape and the CN-adhesive. Next, we'll talk about the precautions of using this CN-adhesive. First, always use these polyethylene sheets, especially when you are inducing pressure during the installations of the strain gauge. You know that CN-adhesive actually bonds strongly with your skin. In order to prevent direct contact with your skin, you should use these polyethylene sheets properly. Sometimes you are quite careful that you do not have contact with CN-adhesive during installations of the strain gauge, or even when you are inducing pressure onto the installed strain gauge. You need to also be careful dealing with the polyethylene sheets after you install the strain gauge. There may be excess of the adhesive stay on the surface of the polyethylene sheets that you accidentally touch it and it bonds strongly with your skin. This you will need to be careful. These are the emergency measures when CN-adhesive stick to your skin. Now, if you accidentally get CN-adhesive on your finger, do not use force to remove the adhesive, or when you have two fingers stick together due to this CN-adhesive, don't force it out. The proper ways of doing it is to place the affected area in hot water and massage the area to peel off the adhesive. To be honest, personally, I have experienced many occasions that I accidentally touched the CN-adhesive. Very often, it's due to improper handling of the polyethylene sheets. And I have fingers stuck together and I am not aware how it is being removed. I only know this after I prepare this module. Now you know the proper way. Probably you don't have to force to remove the adhesive and not getting yourself injured. Now if you get any adhesive in your eyes, flush the eyes immediately with water and seek medical help. Do not attempt to forcibly remove the adhesive. And do not, under any circumstances, try to scrape the adhesive off the eyes. This can be very dangerous. You need to be careful on this. Next, it will be the disposal of this CN adhesive. When there is an excess of CN adhesive, you need to dispose it in plastic container. The practice of shaking off the excess CN adhesive on the strain gauge can be hazardous and must be avoided. Another misconception about using this CN adhesive is that you provide as many as you could onto the strain gauge so that it bonds better with the testing material. This is not the right way to do so, as you only need a little amount of CN adhesive for typical small strain gauge. Only 1 drop of adhesive is sufficient. Now, when you have excess of CN adhesive, the area flooded with CN adhesive, this may increase the tendency of this CN adhesive to be accidentally in contact with your fingers or hand, and this can be hazardous. Now, if you have accidentally stick the CN adhesive to your hand after removing the polyethylene sheets, while removing your hand from the strain gauge, if your hand is already stick with CN adhesive together with the strain gauge, this might also lead to the damage of the strain gauge. You need to be extra careful on that. In fact, we have discussed previously the principle of CN adhesive. It relies on the moisture in the air, which is the humidity, for the chemical reactions to become hardened. Once the CN adhesive is open, theoretically you have to use up the entire bottle. You cannot reuse it after a period of time. Now, the hardening reactions in adhesive speed up as the temperature rises. This doesn't mean that CN adhesive cannot be hardened when the temperature is 0 degrees Celsius. As long as there is humidity, CN adhesive can still harden, even under low temperature. If you refer to the figure here, which in the y-axis is referring to the curing time, and the x-axis referring to the temperature in degrees Celsius. Under the relative humidity of 50 to 60%, when the temperature increases, the curing time reduces. Even though you work with low temperature, it only prolongs the curing time. Knowing this principle, this explains why sometimes researchers kept the CN adhesive in a refrigerator. Initially, I thought putting it in the refrigerator prevents the hardening of CN adhesive. However, it hardened anyway. Now, putting the CN adhesive in the refrigerator, I believe the final intention here is to reduce the temperature while installing the strain gauge. This can buy you some time to operate with the strain gauge. One more thing about having too much CN adhesive while installing the strain gauge is that the hardening process becomes longer. This makes the installations of the strain gauge to be harder to handle.